Time magazine is one of the world's leading publications. And just before the eve of the new millennium, they made this pretty out there sort of claim. They said the single most powerful figure, not merely in these two millenniums, but in all of human history, has been Jesus of Nazareth. Well, that's a pretty bold sort of a claim. But what evidence is there for them to state this? Now, you think about it. Some of our most famous movies, like The Passion of the Christ, are about Jesus of Nazareth. Even one of the world's greatest musical rock operas, Jesus Christ Superstar, was about him. And you know, people even use his name as a swear word, yet they never use Muhammad's name or Buddha's name like that. And amazingly, even the way we reference time has been influenced by Jesus. Time before his birth is BC, and everything after his birth is AD. You see, we can't escape him. So who was this Jesus? What do we really know about him? Is he just a myth? Is there any substance to the stories of Jesus that are found in this book? Well, it's important to understand that there really was a person called Jesus of Nazareth, as mentioned in this book, the Bible. Now, Tacitus, who lived from 55 to 120 AD and was regarded as the greatest historian of ancient Rome, wrote the following about Jesus of Nazareth. Christus, from whom the name had its origins, suffered the extreme penalty during the reign of Tiberius at the hands of one of our procurators, Pontius Pilate. Now, this is almost exactly what the Bible says. So according to Rome's greatest historian, there's absolutely no question that Jesus really lived and was crucified. Then additionally, the Jewish historian Josephus, who also was not a Christian and lived from 37 to 97 AD, he also wrote about Jesus. Famously, Josephus first fought the Romans and then he sided with them. When Josephus wrote about the fall of Masada to the Roman commander Flavia Silve, so much of what he wrote is proven to be correct by Jagel Jadin, who was the excavator of Masada. Now notice what Josephus wrote about Jesus. Now there was about this time Jesus, a wise man, for he was a doer of startling deeds. Pilate, at the suggestion of the principal men amongst us, condemned him to the cross. So you can see non-Christian historians agree with the writers of the Bible that Jesus was a real person living in the 1st century AD. And then of course there are archaeological discoveries that confirm the biblical stories about Jesus. Firstly, let's think about Herod the Great. According to the Bible, this man was the villain in the Christmas story of the baby Jesus. This was the guy who tried to kill the baby, you see. There's no question that Herod was an historical person whom history reveals was an exceedingly cruel person. Archaeologists have excavated several of Herod's fortresses. One at Masada, another one at Macarius, where John the Baptist, it said, was beheaded, and yet still another in Herodion, near Bethlehem. Now perhaps the reason why Herod had so many fortresses was because he had so many enemies. And you know, before his death, Herod requested that some people be killed when he died. Why? He wanted people to be crying and mourning when he died. You get the point? This is a cruel man, just as the Bible portrays him. There's also Tiberius Caesar, whom the Bible says was the emperor of Rome at the time of Christ's crucifixion. Now Tacitus, that great Roman historian, confirms that Tiberius was indeed the Roman emperor at the time of Christ's death. The Bible records, of course, that the Jewish high priest who tried Christ before the Jewish court or their Sanhedrin was a man named Caiaphas. And in November 1990, workers found an ornate limestone ossuary, that's a bone box, while they were paving a road in Jerusalem. And scholars believe that this ossuary is that of Caiaphas, the high priest who's mentioned in the Bible. Now the Bible records that the Roman official who condemned Jesus to death was Pontius Pilate. The Romans ruled Israel from Caesarea on the Mediterranean Sea, and when archaeologists were excavating this ancient site in 1961, they unearthed this stone in the Roman theatre right here at Caesarea. The inscription on this stone says, Pontius Pilate, Prefect of Judea. Again, this confirms the biblical record of Pilate's role in Israel in the 1st century. Now, thanks to what archaeologists and historians have unearthed, the biblical record that there was a man called Jesus of Nazareth who was crucified is no longer a mystery to the scholars. Now, you can make more discoveries about Jesus and his teachings in our free online archaeology courses. Visit our website so that you can learn more.